We're live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar to attend the funeral of former Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Begum Khaleda Zia in Dhaka to convey India's condolences. United States announces fresh sanctions related to Iran and Venezuela over drone missile trade. Protests continue across Iran over currency collapse and high inflation rate. Government offers dialogue. And in sports, India completes 5-0 series sweep over Sri Lanka after beating them in the 5th Women's T20 International at Thiruvananthapuram. And the world's set to ring in the new year, people gearing to welcome year 2026 with great enthusiasm, celebrations and fireworks. And on to the details now. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar to attend the funeral of Bangladesh's first woman Prime Minister Khaleda Zia in Dhaka on Wednesday to convey India's condolences. Well, the global leaders expressed condolences following the death of Khaleda Zia, recalling her significant legacy in Bangladesh's political journey. Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said he was deeply saddened after learning about the passing of Khaleda. Well, Begum Khaleda Zia was a towering figure in Bangladesh's politics. She led the Bangladesh Nationalist Party for decades and was the principal rival to Sheikh Hasina of the Awami League Party. Her remarkable political journey from widowhood to the nation's highest office shaped modern Bangladesh. The next report traces her life and legacy.
Khaleda Zia, Bangladesh's first woman prime minister and three-time leader, has died in Dhaka at the age of 80. Her death marks the end of a political era. For decades, she and her arch-rival Sheikh Hasina dominated the nation's politics. Supporters call her the mother of democracy for restoring parliamentary rule after years of military control. She was largely unfamiliar with the political world until she was seemingly dragged into it following the assassination of her husband, President Ziaur Rahman, a military strongman turned politician, in an abortive army coup in 1981. A year later, she joined the Bangladesh Nationalist Party, founded by her late husband, and became its chairperson within 2 years. After the 1982 military coup by the then army chief, General H.M. Irshad, Zia initiated a movement for restoring democracy. In 1986, she boycotted a rigged presidential election, a move that helped boost her popularity. After the fall of the Irshad regime in December 1990, elections were held in February 1991, which the BNP won. Khaleda Zia became Bangladesh's first female prime minister and the second in the Muslim world after Pakistan's Benazir Bhutto. Her political life saw several ups and downs. The BNP briefly returned to power in 1996 and again in 2001. In 2006, Zia stepped down from office, handing over power to a caretaker administration. In September 2007, she was arrested on what her party claimed were baseless charges of corruption. In 2018, she was sentenced to 5 years in jail in a Zia Orphanage Trust case and later received a 7-year sentence in the Zia Charitable Trust case. In 2024, a day after Sheikh Hasina was ousted from power, Zia was granted a presidential pardon and released. The following day, she returned to politics with a massive rally, breathing new life into the BNP despite her ailing health. Her son, Tariq Rahman, who's currently BNP's acting chairman, recently returned home after living in London in self-exile since 2008. Zia was born on 15th August 1946 to Tayyaba and Iskandar Muzumdar in Dinajpur district in undivided India. Her father migrated from Jalpaiguri where the family ran a tea business, to what was East Pakistan after the partition.
Well, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu flagged off the inaugural test flight of a new indigenous helicopter for civil and commercial operations. The Made in India chopper, built by the state-owned Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, showcases indigenous strengths in design, development and manufacturing state-of-the-art helicopters. Jyoti Devdar in Bangalore and Tripti Tripathi in New Delhi reports for more.
Taking a historic leap in India's rotowing aviation sector, Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu inaugurated the Advanced Light Helicopter Next Generation, popularly known as Dhruv NG. The Dhruv NG is a 5.5-ton light-twin engine, multi-role helicopter designed to meet the demanding operational needs of India's diverse and challenging terrain. The launch marks a major milestone for Hindustan Aeronautics Limited as it strengthens its presence in the civil aviation segment.
It's a proud moment for us that Dhruv is a transformative step in India's capability to design, develop and manufacture a helicopter for commercial operations. Under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, we have transitioned from import dependency to indigenous reliability. With the Dhruv NG, we are proving that Made in India is not just a slogan, but it is a seal of global quality.
The civil variant of the ALH Mark III Dhruv NG is powered by indigenous Shakti engines and features a modern civil certified glass cockpit. Positioned as a cost-effective and high-performance alternative to imported helicopters, it comes with HAL's one-stop solution covering manufacturing, maintenance and upgrades.
From the vision that our Honorable Prime Minister has created for this country of making aviation an inclusive sector, to make it reach to the most commonest man in the country. His vision was that civil aviation should no longer be for the elite or the luxurious or a certain sector of the people. It has to be available for all people in the country. And through that, in the last 11 years, we have created multiple infrastructure, multiple airports, we have advanced our technologies, we have done various activities around civil aviation, and we have seen India become the third largest domestic aviation market in the world.
Safety and reliability have been central to its design. The helicopter can accommodate 9 to 14 passengers with a maximum cruise speed of 250 km per hour. Its versatility makes it ideal for emergency medical services, offshore operations, search and rescue missions, disaster relief and connectivity to remote regions under schemes like UDAN.
With Dhruv Next Generation, we are firmly strengthening HAL's presence in the civil aviation sector. We are moving from the battlefield to the life-saving field, from combat missions to helicopter emergency medical services, disaster relief and regional connectivity, and establishing India as a self-reliant powerhouse for both aircraft manufacturing and maintenance.
In the last decade, India's skies have grown busier than ever. The number of airports increased from 74 in 2014 to 164 in 2025. The domestic passenger traffic continues to rise at double-digit rates, and India is now the world's third largest domestic aviation market. By 2040, the passenger traffic is expected to grow six-fold to around 1.1 billion. With the launch of Dhruv NG, India is set not only to meet domestic needs, but also to compete confidently in the global aviation market. With inputs from Jyoti Devdar, Prasar Bharati's report for DD India.
Well, the year 2025 tested nations with disasters internationally and nationally. From earthquakes in the neighborhood to floods across Indian states, emergencies struck without warning. Yet amid the devastation, India's relief and rescue operations stood out swift, coordinated and compassionate, reflecting a nation ready to respond when humanity calls.
In 2025, India stepped up its international humanitarian response with speed, scale, and strategic reach. On March 28, a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck Myanmar, killing over 1,600 people. India launched Operation Brahma, deploying relief teams and medical support. The mission continued till April 9, with thousands treated and lives saved, reflecting India's commitment to regional humanitarian leadership. In June, escalating tensions in West Asia left thousands of Indian nationals stranded in conflict zones. India launched Operation Sindhu, using special flights and land routes to evacuate over 4,400 Indians safely. Once again, citizen safety remained at the core of India's overseas crisis response. In September, a major earthquake struck Afghanistan's Kunar province. Between September 1st and 25th, the disaster claimed over 2,200 lives. India responded with truckloads of food, water purifiers, and medical supplies routed through Chabahar to Kabul. The aid reaffirmed India's development-focused and people-centric engagement even amid complex geopolitics. Towards the end of the year, Cyclone Ditwa struck Sri Lanka. India launched Operation Sagar Bandhu, sending over 1,050 metric tons of relief material, evacuating more than 450 people and treating over 3,300 patients. Alongside overseas missions, emergencies with India called for rapid, large-scale domestic rescue operations. India's domestic response was put to the test early in the year. On January 7, a coal mine collapse in Dima Hasao district on the Assam-Meghalaya border trapped workers underground. The Indian Army's Eastern Command launched an intensive rescue operation under challenging conditions. In June, an Air India aircraft crash in Ahmedabad demanded immediate support. Of the 242 people on board, all but one lost their lives. The Indian Army deployed engineers, medical teams, firefighting assets, and quick action teams. With the onset of monsoon, floods and landslides affected Himachal Pradesh and the northeast. Operation Jal Rahat saw army columns move day and night from submerged villages in Assam and Manipur to landslide-hit districts of Himachal. Relief supplies, evacuations, and medical aid ensured that no village was left behind in rising waters. By mid-August, floods and landslides battered northern India, displacing over 1 million people. The Indian Army conducted 82 relief missions, evacuating more than 6,000 people, while the Indian Air Force rescued 541. Across borders and within the country, 2025 reflected India's sustained relief response, from rapid rescue to large-scale humanitarian support. When disaster strikes, India stands ready. Deepika Yadav for DD India.
And still to come in this edition of DD India Live. UAE pulls troops from Yemen as Saudi airstrikes deepen Gulf rift. Denmark becomes first nation to end letter delivery, fully embraces digital communication. And Norway's Magnus Carlsen.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage, and colorful culture.
Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Live. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. And moving on, the Trump administration on Tuesday announced sanctions against Iran and Venezuela, targeting companies that have been involved in the production and sale of drones. The U.S. Treasury Department took aim at 10 individuals and entities based in Venezuela and Iran over issues including purchases of Iranian-designed drones. Now, the administration is also sanctioning 3 Iran-based individuals in connection with efforts for ballistic missiles, as well as 2 companies and 3 people in Iran with connections to Iran's UAV and aerospace program. Among those impacted are Venezuelan company Empresa Aeronautica Nacional SA and its chair, Jose Jesus, Urdaneta Gonzalez, which it said have acquired Iranian-designed UAVs. Now, the new sanctions come as President Trump has ramped up pressure on Venezuela by imposing sanctions on embattled President Nicolas Maduro and ordering military strikes on a facility he said was used as a dock for alleged drug boats. U.S. officials said the sanctions are intended to disrupt Iran-Venezuela cooperation that supports Tehran's military-industrial complex. Trump on Monday also warned to strike Iran if leaders pursue a nuclear weapon. An Iranian student staged a street protest in Tehran on Tuesday, a day after the capital's shopkeepers demonstrated against economic hardship. According to a news agency associated with Iran's labor movement, protests erupted at 10 universities across the country, including 7 in Tehran. Protests also broke out at the Technology University in the central city of Isfahan and institutions in the cities of Yazd and Zanjan. On Tuesday, security forces and riot police were deployed at major intersections in Tehran and around some universities, while some of the shops closed the previous day in the capital center had reopened. President Masoud Pezeshkian met on Tuesday with labor leaders and made proposals to tackle the economic crisis. Earlier on Monday, the government announced the replacement of the central bank governor with former economy and finance minister Abdul Nasir Hemati. Well, Guatemala will conclude year 2025 with around 55,000 nationals deported from the U.S. and Mexico, a 23% drop from the 76,000 deported in 2024 as the final deportation flights of the year landed. Now, according to Mazarigos, a spokesperson for the Guatemalan Migration Institute, approximately 48,000 were sent by the U.S., while the rest came from Mexico. Deputies disembarked to complete registration procedures and collect their personal belongings at the returnee reception center in Guatemala City. Now, since taking office on January 20th, President Donald Trump has stepped up the number of migrants the U.S. deports to Latin America, including using military planes for repatriation flights. And moving on, China fired rockets into waters of Taiwan on Tuesday, showcasing new assault ships and dismissed prospects of U.S. and allied intervention to block any future attack by Beijing to take control of the island in its most extensive war games to date. Now, as part of drills rehearsing a blockade, China's Eastern Theater Command conducted 10 hours of live fire exercises, launching rockets into waters to the north and south of the democratically governed island. Chinese naval and air force units also simulated strikes on maritime and aerial targets and carried out anti-submarine drills around the island. Named Justice Mission 2025, the drills began 11 days after the U.S. announced a record $11.1 billion arms package to Taiwan, drawing the Chinese Defense Ministry's iron warnings that the military would take forceful measures in response. And the world is also reacting to China's ongoing war games around Taiwan. Germany stressed that the stability of the Taiwan Strait is crucial for international security and prosperity. Any change to Taiwan's status quo must be peaceful and mutually agreed. France reiterated its commitment to peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, which are essential to global security and prosperity, while the leaders of the U.S. House of Representatives Select Committee on China said that the drills are intended to intimidate Taiwan and other democracies in the region and to undermine peace and stability across the Indo-Pacific. And the United Arab Emirates pulled its remaining forces out of Yemen after Saudi Arabia backed a call for UAE forces to leave within 24 hours, deepening a crisis between the two Gulf powers and oil producers. As earlier, Saudi-led coalition forces had attacked the southern Yemeni port of Mukalla. The airstrike on what Riyadh said was a UAE-linked weapons shipment was the most significant escalation to date in a widening rift between the two Gulf monarchies. Well, in Washington, the U.S. State Department said Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with the Saudi and UAE foreign ministers about tensions in Yemen and other issues affecting security in the Middle East. And Denmark's state-run postal service PostNord delivered its final letter on Tuesday, bringing an end to more than 400 years of traditional mail delivery as the country fully embraces digital communication. With this move, Denmark becomes the first country in the world to officially decide that physical letter delivery is no longer essential or economically sustainable in a digital age. The decision reflects a sharp and long-term decline in letter usage. A similar trend has been seen elsewhere, including in the United States, where the U.S. Postal Service delivered about half as much as mail in 2024 compared to 2006. PostNord, however, will continue operating its parcel delivery services, which remain in high demand due to the growth of online shopping. And the robbers drilled into the vault of a German savings bank and stole cash, gold and jewelry worth an estimated $35 million. Now, the heist took place in the western city of Gelsenkirchen, where the thieves broke open more than 3,000 safe deposit boxes at a Sparkasse branch before escaping. According to the police, thieves used the quiet Christmas period to drill their way into the vault of a German retail bank. Hundreds of distressed bank customers massed outside the branch on Tuesday demanding information, while witnesses reported seeing several men carrying large bags in the stairwell of the parking garage during the night from Saturday to Sunday. And on to some business news now. India has emerged as a global leader in artificial intelligence, ranking third worldwide in AI competitiveness, according to Stanford University's Global AI Vibrancy Tool 2025. Now, the government-backed India AI mission, with an approved outlay of 10,300 crore rupees, has onboarded 38,000 graphic processing units to boost national AI computing capacity. Key platforms such as AI Kosh, offering more than 5,500 data sets and 251 AI models, are accelerating AI adoption across governance, healthcare, agriculture, education and public services. Initiatives including Centers of Excellence for AI, indigenous models such as Bharajan AI, language platform Bhashini, and expanded AI skilling programs are strengthening India's AI ecosystem. With a focus on inclusive, affordable and responsible innovation, India is leveraging AI to improve everyday life and advance its long-term vision of becoming a developed nation by the year 2047. And on to some sports news now. India clinched a 5-0 whitewash over Sri Lanka in the Women T20 International Series, winning the final match in Thiruvananthapuram by 15 runs. Harmanpreet Kaur's fluent 68 and Arundhati Reddy's late hitting powered the host to 175 for 7. Sri Lanka's chase faltered after captain Chamari Atapattu fell early, though Imesha Dulani's 50 and Hasini Pereira's 65 kept them in contention. With the required run rate climbing above 11, India's disciplined bowling attack, led by Reddy and Amanjot Kaur, restricted the visitors to 160 for loss of 7 wickets. The sweep in a way showcased India's batting depth and bowling consistency, providing ideal momentum ahead of the T20 World Cup in England next June. And world's #1 chess player, Grandmaster Magnus Carlsen, won the World Blitz Championship in Doha on Tuesday. Carlsen clinched the 20th World Championship crown by defeating Uzbekistan's Norbek Abdusattorov in the final. Norwegian star lost the first game of the match but responded strongly to win the second game and then sealed the title with a crucial victory with the back pieces in Game 4. Early on Sunday, Carlsen was crowned Rapid World Champion. The Nordic Grandmaster now has 9 Blitz titles, 6 in Rapid and 5 in the most prestigious longer format, which involves more than 10 games between the world champion and a challenger. Carlsen relinquished his long format crown in 2023, citing lack of motivation. It is now held by India's D. Kukesh. And as people across the globe gear up to ring in the year 2026 with celebrations and firework displays, in US, a test run of New York City's ball drop concluded successfully in Times Square on Tuesday, less than 48 hours before the final countdown to New Year's Eve. Standing on an outdoor platform high above Times Square, representatives from Countdown Entertainment, Times Square Alliance, Jamestown, and One Times Square and Carnival Corporation flipped the switch to illuminate and raise the 12,350-pound New Year's Eve Times Square crystal ball. Well, the Nigerians attended the famous Calabar Carnival in the south of the country, dubbed Africa's biggest street party, featuring colorful dancers and floats. Every December, this festival attracts nearly 2 million revelers of the capital of Cross River State. And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshik Rana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.